Do you ever feel like you're playing a game where someone else wrote the rules? A game where you're constantly holding your breath, waiting for the world's approval, for the like, the promotion, the validation. That no matter how hard you try, an invisible script is dictating your emotional responses, keeping you stuck in a loop of anxiety, people-pleasing, and a profound sense of exhaustion. It's like you're a tightrope walker, high above the ground, trying to maintain your balance. But the rope isn't made of steel. It's woven from the expectations of your boss, the opinions of your friends, the curated perfection you see on social media, and the imagined judgments of strangers. Every step is a performance. Every gust of wind, a critical comment, a failed project, a plan gone awry, threatens to send you plummeting. You're so focused on not falling that you've forgotten what it feels like to simply walk. What if I told you that the key to walking this rope with unshakable balance, or even growing wings to fly, lies in a radical, counterintuitive act? What if the secret is to stop caring? Not in a way that leads to apathy or nihilism, but in a precise, strategic, and deeply powerful way. What if I told you the blueprint for this freedom doesn't lie in the latest productivity hack, but in a 2,000-year-old operating system for the human mind? An ancient blueprint that can turn your greatest struggles into your most profound strengths. This isn't just a philosophy lesson. This is your personal declaration of independence. This is the art of learning what is truly worth caring about, so that everything else can finally fall into place. Let's be honest about what this constant caring feels like in your day-to-day life. It's a weight, a heavy, invisible cloak you wear from the moment you wake up. Picture this. You're in a team meeting at work. You have a brilliant, unconventional idea, but you hesitate. You start running a simulation in your mind. What will my manager think? Will my colleagues see it as naive? What if I say it and there's just silence? The potential judgment feels so threatening that you swallow your idea. You stay silent. You choose the illusion of safety over the possibility of impact. The weight of caring what they think just paralyzed your potential. Or picture this. You're out with friends. Someone makes a joke at your expense or shares a political opinion you strongly disagree with. Instead of being authentic, a different script runs. The people-pleaser script. You force a laugh. You nod along. You become a social chameleon, sacrificing your integrity for the sake of a frictionless evening. You walk away from that interaction feeling hollow, a stranger to yourself, because you cared more about being liked than being you. And then there's the silent late-night scroll. You see the curated highlight reels of others, their promotions, their perfect vacations, their seemingly flawless relationships. The caring mechanism goes into overdrive. You're not just looking at pictures. You're absorbing narratives of your own inadequacy. The gap between your messy reality and their polished image becomes a source of deep, personal pain. This isn't just about a few awkward moments. This is a catastrophic drain on your life force. Think about the domino effect. This constant state of high alert, this desperate management of others' perceptions, is not a background process. It's the main program, hogging all your mental and emotional RAM. It's the cognitive load that leaves you too exhausted to work on your passion project. It's the decision fatigue that makes choosing what to have for dinner feel like a monumental task. It robs you of your presence. You're in a conversation, but you're not there. You're in your head, monitoring, calculating, performing. It erodes your relationships because no one ever gets to meet the real you, only your carefully constructed ambassador. Now, it's crucial you understand this. This is not a personal failing. You are not weak or broken. You have simply been running on a faulty, yet very human, psychological default setting. Psychologists call this having an external locus of control, where you believe your life and your happiness are dictated by outside forces and people. It's also tied to our innate negativity bias, where our brains are wired to give more weight to potential threats like social judgment than to positive outcomes. You've been conditioned by evolution and society to care, and to care intensely, about what the tribe thinks. But that conditioning, which once ensured our survival, has now become the cage that limits our thriving. So, the question isn't, why am I like this? The empowering question is, how do I install a new operating system? So, how do we rewrite this script? How do we take the pen back from the world and begin authoring our own emotional responses? The answer, the game-changing blueprint, lies in Stoicism. Now, when you hear Stoic, you might picture a stone-faced statue, someone who represses their emotions and endures hardship with a stiff upper lip. Forget that caricature. That's not Stoicism. That's a modern misunderstanding. True Stoicism is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally invincible. It's not a passive philosophy of endurance. It's an active, practical, and deeply empowering mental operating system designed for one purpose: to help you flourish in the face of reality. The entire system is built upon one single earth-shattering idea. It's the master key that unlocks everything else. It comes from the former slave turned legendary philosopher Epictetus. He said, "Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are body, property, reputation, office, and, in a word, whatever is not of our own doing." Let that sink in. This simple sentence is arguably the most powerful life management tool ever invented. This is the dichotomy of control. This isn't about apathy. It's about the radical and ruthless reallocation of your most precious resource: your attention, your energy, your care. It's the art of distinguishing between the signal, what you can actually influence, and the noise, the vast, deafening roar of everything you cannot. Most of us spend 99% of our lives caring, worrying, and stressing about the things in the second category: what people think of us, whether we'll get the job, how our bodies will age, the traffic, the weather, the economy. We are pouring our life force into a bucket riddled with holes. The Stoic flips this. They consciously and deliberately choose to stop caring about what they cannot control. Not because it doesn't exist, but because caring about it is the definition of insanity. It's like shouting at the rain to stop. Instead, they turn their full, undivided attention to what the Stoics called your sphere of sovereignty. Your inner kingdom where you, and only you, are the absolute ruler. Your thoughts, your judgments, your choices, your actions, your character. We are not here to be historians, studying what these ancient figures said. We are here to be architects of our inner world. This is a transformative journey to build what the Stoics called an unshakable inner citadel, a fortress of the mind so strong that the chaos of the external world can never breach its walls. This is where your true power lies. Building this inner citadel, mastering this new operating system, rests on three core pillars. Three transformative principles that will guide you from caring about everything to caring only about what truly matters. Pillar 1. The architect of perception. The first pillar is the most fundamental. It's the realization that you are the sole architect of your experience of reality. The Stoics understood that we are never disturbed by events themselves, only by our judgments about those events. Think of your mind like a camera lens. The world is just raw data light, sound, events. You can choose to use a distorted, fisheye lens that makes every minor setback look like a monstrous catastrophe. Or you can use a macro lens, focusing obsessively on a tiny flaw until it fills your entire field of vision. Or you can choose the Stoic lens, a clear, well-calibrated lens that sees things for what they are, separating the objective event from the subjective story you tell yourself about it. The great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote this to himself in his private journal. The Meditations. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. He also said, if you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now. This is a superpower. Someone gives you a critical look in a meeting. The event is, their facial muscles contracted in a certain way. The story you tell yourself is, I think I'm an idiot. My career is over. Now, a common mistake here is to think this is just positive thinking, or worse, toxic positivity. It's not. The Stoic isn't telling you to lie to yourself and pretend the critical look was a sign of admiration. That's delusion. Stoicism is about ruthless truth. It's about telling yourself a more complete, more empowering, and truer story. The Stoic response is to analyze. That was a look. I cannot know the intention behind it. Maybe they disagree. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they have a headache. Their opinion is external to me. It's outside my sphere of sovereignty. What is in my power? My response. I will focus on the validity of my argument, not the perceived validity of their expression. This is the exact foundation of modern cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the most effective treatments for anxiety and depression. CBT teaches that our emotions are not caused by an event, but by our beliefs about the event. Change the belief, and you change the emotion. The Stoics were the original cognitive behavioral therapists. By becoming the architect of your perception, you stop caring about the unchangeable event and start caring intensely about the one thing you can control, the meaning you assign to it. This alone will drain 90% of the anxiety from your life. Pillar 2. The Alchemist of Desire. The second pillar transforms your relationship with what you want. Most of us are pulled through life by our desires, like a chariot pulled by untamed horses, galloping wildly towards fame, wealth, pleasure, and approval. We believe our happiness lies at those destinations. The Stoic approach is revolutionary. The goal isn't to kill the horses. The goal is to become a master equestrian, grabbing the reins and guiding your desires towards a destination of your own choosing. A destination that is actually within your sphere of sovereignty. That destination is inner peace, character, and virtue. The philosopher Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, was a master of this principle. He wrote extensively about how things like money, health, and reputation are not goods in themselves. He called them preferred indifference. It's preferable to be healthy than sick, wealthy than poor. But your happiness and your goodness as a human being are completely independent of them. They are nice-to-haves, not need-to-haves. You can be a good, wise, and tranquil person, whether you are rich or poor, famous or unknown. Again, the common misconception is that Stoics are joyless ascetics who want nothing. This is false. The Stoic doesn't eliminate desire, they elevate it. They stop desiring things that are fragile, fleeting, and outside their control. Instead, they desire things that are truly valuable and entirely within their control. Wisdom, courage, justice, self-control. These are the true treasures. This is where Stoicism beautifully intersects with the work of the depth psychologist Carl Jung. Jung spoke of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we deny and repress. Our desperate, needy craving for external validation, for people to like us. For likes on a post, this is often a projection of our shadow. It's our unacknowledged inner child screaming for the self-acceptance and self-love we refuse to give ourselves. We outsource our sense of worth to the world because we haven't cultivated it within. The Stoic practice of elevating your desire is a form of shadow integration. You turn inward and say, what is this craving for approval really about? It's about a need to feel worthy. The Stoic then decides to satisfy that need internally by acting with virtue and integrity, rather than externally by begging for scraps of validation from others. When you desire to be a person of courage more than you desire to be seen as courageous, you will act bravely even when no one is watching. When you desire to be a person of integrity more than you desire to be popular, you will speak your truth with kindness, regardless of the social cost. You stop caring about the applause, because your inner sense of a life well lived becomes the only reward you need. Pillar 3. The warrior of action. The third pillar is where the philosophy meets the pavement. It's the understanding that Stoicism is not a passive armchair philosophy. It is a philosophy for the arena of life. It's about action. Philosophy, for the Stoics, is a sword. You can hang it on the wall and admire its intellectual beauty, or you can carry it into the battlefield of daily life. The Stoic is a warrior who uses their philosophy to cut through confusion, fear, and inaction. After you've sorted out your perceptions and recalibrated your desires, you must act. But you act in a very specific way. You focus all your energy on your actions, not the fruits of your actions. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to get out of bed in the morning and do the work of a human being, to act in service to the human community. This wasn't about seeking glory. It was about fulfilling his duty, his role, with excellence. Here lies the most profound misunderstanding of Stoicism. The idea that because so much is outside our control, we should do nothing. This is fatalism, the exact opposite of the Stoic mindset. The Stoic warrior doesn't become passive. They become incredibly effective. They don't waste a single drop of energy on what might happen, on the outcome, on whether they will succeed or fail. Why? Because the outcome is external. It's not in their sphere of sovereignty. Instead, they pour 100% of their care and attention into what they can control: the quality of their effort, the integrity of their choices, the virtue of their response. This is the game changer. You're launching a new business. The fatalist says, "The economy is bad. It will probably fail, so why try?" The anxious person obsesses. "What if no one buys it? What if I lose all my money?" The Stoic warrior says, "The success of this business is not entirely up to me. Market forces, luck, and competitors are outside my control. But my business plan, my work ethic, the quality of my product, and how I treat my customers, that is 100% up to me. I will execute my part with excellence and accept the outcome, whatever it may be, with equanimity." This is the freedom discovered by the great psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, Viktor Frankl. In his masterpiece, Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. The Stoic lives in that space. The stimulus is the challenge. The response is your virtuous action. You stop caring about controlling the stimulus and become obsessed with mastering your response. This is how you stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the hero of your life story." The great writer Goethe once said, "Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do." These pillars are the blueprint, but now we need to hand you the tools to start building. Let's forge your personal Stoic toolkit, starting tonight. Tool 1. The Cognitive Journal. This is not a diary for your feelings. This is a laboratory for your mind. It's a way to practice Pillar 1, becoming the architect of perception. Here's the simple, powerful exercise. Before you go to sleep, take a notebook and create 3 columns. Column 1. Objective event. Write down something that disturbed you today, but describe it like a security camera would see it. No judgment, no story. Column 2. My initial judgment. Now, write down the story you told yourself. The automatic, emotional interpretation. Column 3. A Stoic reframe. This is where you do the work. Challenge your judgment using the dichotomy of control. Doing this every day retrains your brain to see the gap between reality and your story about it. It's mental weightlifting. Tool 2. the premeditation of evils. This sounds grim, but it's one of the most powerful tools for building resilience. It is not pessimism. It's a psychological vaccine against life shocks. Here's how you do it. Once a week, for just 5 minutes, sit quietly and visualize a potential challenge related to something you care too much about. Imagine things not going your way. Then, the crucial second step, visualize yourself responding with stoic virtue. Imagine yourself feeling the disappointment, but then taking a deep breath and responding with calm, with courage, with wisdom. You are rehearsing for resilience. So when life inevitably throws a punch, you've already practiced the footwork. You stopped caring about avoiding the punch and started caring about your ability to take it. Tool 3. The evening review. The Stoic's ledger. This is how you program your subconscious for growth, not guilt. It's the ultimate expression of taking responsibility for your inner world, inspired by Seneca. As the very last thing you do before you close your eyes, with your head on the pillow, ask yourself these 3 simple questions. What habit did I weaken today? What did I do well, aligned with my values? What could I do better tomorrow? This isn't about shaming yourself. It's an objective, compassionate review of your day as a philosopher in training. It ensures that every day you go to sleep a little wiser, a little stronger, and a little more prepared for the day to come. You stop caring about being perfect and start caring about making progress. You may have started this video feeling like a passenger on a stormy sea, tossed about by the waves of external events and other people's opinions. But now, you see the path forward. You hold the blueprint of the ship. You have the compass of perception to see things clearly, the strength to be the alchemist of your own desires, and the warrior's will to man the rudder of your actions. The storms will still come. The winds of fortune will still blow. The world will not stop being chaotic and unpredictable. But you will be different. You are no longer at their mercy, because you are learning to build an unshakable inner citadel. You are learning to be the captain of your soul. The profound freedom you're seeking doesn't come from the world finally arranging itself to your liking. It comes when you stop caring whether it does or not. It comes when you pour all that magnificent energy you've been wasting on the uncontrollable back into the only thing that ever truly mattered. The person you are choosing to become, moment by moment. Remember the words of Epictetus that have echoed through millennia. The core of this entire operating system. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is not a quick fix. This is not a life hack. This is your superpower. And like any power, it requires practice. This is a journey, not a destination. Embrace progress, not perfection. Every single day, every single moment offers a new opportunity to practice, to choose your perception, to elevate your desire, and to act with virtue. Now, I want to hear from you. This is where your journey begins. In the comments below, I want you to make a declaration. Share one insight from this video that created a shift in your thinking, or tell us the one tool from the Stoics toolkit you will commit to trying starting tonight. Your written declaration is a powerful first step. It's an act of taking the pen back. If you are ready to continue this transformative journey and build your unshakable inner citadel, show your commitment by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. It's the simplest way to support our community of modern-day philosophers and ensure you don't miss the next step in your training. Stay steadfast. Stay stoic.